state of play, and we are talking about a very big problem called galamsey, and the political season is here. But we are not surprised. I am not surprised that it's gotten worse as we approach the elections. It's no brainer, because the guys that we've given the power to fight it on our behalf, that we gave all the tools to marshal all the forces of the state, they are playing and doing politics.
Yeah, very busy.
Yes. And the galamseyers are involved in illicit flows in funding their campaigns.
Yeah.
Don't take my word for it. The CDD report told us that as far as illicit financial flows to campaign financing is concerned, a huge part of that is legal. So part of the reason why the MPP in government is failing at dealing with it, but another reason is because they are afraid that in the mining areas where you have illegal mining, they will be voted against.
And you remember the last election, I was worried that they kept on saying, oh yes, we lost Pristia Huni Valley. We also had reduced votes in this area, largely because of the galamsey fight that we're doing. You see, because of this, we're losing numbers. And I'm asking myself, why is that even important? Why does anybody in the Republic of Ghana deserve to know that you did what is right and there were repercussions for doing what is right? Because that's the only reason why you sought power. In fact, you sought power to improve the livelihoods of the people. You sought power to do what is right. And your insistence is that you will follow rule of law, no matter whose ox is God. But all of a sudden, it's as if we needed to look with pity upon them, understand our condition. You see, election years, if you touch them, even the minister was saying the same thing yesterday, that even your own party people will come after you. They say you are reducing their electoral fortunes. And I'm asking myself, who do you serve, party or state?
It should be obvious.
Yes, but it's not obvious in this republic. The only thing we know for a fact is that every single Ghanaian politician is putting party first ahead of state.
Which is a shame.
Which is shocking, because that is never the promise from day one. In fact, it is exactly because they will say they will not put their personal interest ahead of that of the state. That's why we chose them to be there.
Yeah.
And that the biggest hindrance to delivering on that goal of protecting the future of this country.
And it's shocking. I've heard this week. I've heard a few things that
amazing.
At a point, there's a part of me that said nothing will happen. It was a struggle to find the courage to be hopeful, and to say that because hope should come to you naturally, but it was the most painful thing was to find the courage to be hopeful. And you have to talk, because I understand that my microphone is not as audible.
Let's get this clear. For some of us, we believe it's a reflection of the level of governance we have, not only in Ghana, but in part of the world.
Yeah.
And I say this without any hesitation. We don't have conscionable men in our politics. Our politics is predominated by people who will put themselves, their family, friends, party, cronies ahead of the state. They have shown it in so many ways. But when it comes to galamsey, it is the most glaring form.
Yeah.
It is almost as if now we have agreed. And I heard Professor Ade even say today, he's expecting a state of emergency.
Yes.
But he's not convinced it will happen.
Yeah.
He said he's been a realist. And I was shocked. See, all that we are saying is that we cannot trust the people to do what is right when political power is at stake. That is the most.
But that's shocking.
Yeah. Yeah. It means that this is just what I'm saying. What other forms of what they call it problems can be put on hold because we don't have to address it because we have political chances? You think about it for a second. This is glaring galamsey. Which other ones? So, for example, will we stop dealing with corruption because it will affect galamsey? Will we stop, for example, fighting robbery because it will affect galamsey? Can we boldly tell the people in this country that, no, Evans Mensah, you can go ahead, buy guns, establish robbery groups, go ahead and rob every place from cantonments to Rage to very close to the Flagstaff House. You can do all of that because what? If we touch you, those young boys you are using for the robbery, they are going to vote against us. That is just the argument we are making. And when I hear it, I feel sad. I feel sad because this is a state that says it's fighting terrorism.
Yeah.
Yeah. This state, in fact, all this see something, say something, is geared towards one thing. We have seen galamsey. We have shown you evidence of it. We have done consistent reports of it. And yet, when it comes to galamsey, no, don't even look at it. And don't say anything.
And so,
I cannot believe it.
And so this week, the Water Resources Commission told me on PM Express that the illegal miners have now erected barriers to the access points for the rivers, so that when they now go and take samples to measure turbidity and water quality, they meet several barriers erected by the galamseyers themselves as you try to access, and they police these barriers, the borders that they've erected, and you have to justify to them, and they are armed, why you want to access the river. Yes. So the scientists that we are paying,
legitimate institution of state.
yes, Water Resources,
the ones that we've actually mandated to take care of our water resources, they are not arresting the people. They are going to have access to actually evaluate the state of these water bodies. Criminals, and that's who they are.
Yes, you're right.
Criminals have formed a barricade.
Yeah.
It's almost like robbers mounting a barricade, saying that unless they determine that you are qualified and competent enough, or you suit their needs, they will not allow you access water bodies in this republic.
That is where we are.
About this one.
So to the
this
point
is
where,
like the movies they do, like Hotel Rwanda and those other
you see the movies,
of banana republics, completely collapsed republics.
But that's what we've become now, at least in these areas where we have galamsey. So you know what the head of the institution says? To the point now that they have to circumvent. So you know how they determine turbidity and water quality now if they can't access the water bodies?
They take the samples.
No. They are using satellite to check the color.
Really?
Yes.
In Ghana.
In Ghana here. So they are using satellite to check the color of the water.
Okay.
And they compare to others to determine turbidity instead of using the sample.
But that is a long shot from getting the real values.
Of course. And that will not give you the accurate value.
Yes.
Because of course, take the samples and use that. That's what they do. But they cannot do that anymore. They're finding ways around it.
They can't even take the pictures.
No. Why? They're not allowing access to the water. And then the most shocking part, when we play this narration of what is happening, Erastus then says, he went to one of the communities. One of the illegal miners, the kingpins, galamsey kingpins, goes to one of the chiefs in the community and says, he wants to buy a portion of the river. I want to repeat it. He goes. No, he said, yeah, that's what happened. No. It's happening in Ghana. He goes to the chief of the community and asks to buy a portion of the river. And Erastus had evidence. And you see, when he said it, and then you then also juxtapose it with what the Water Resources Commission man is saying. They are preventing you access to the water body because that part is theirs. They have somehow bought that part of the water body.
And so they believe that's what they have done.
Exactly.
But
just like
even if you bought land and the legitimate institution of state wants access,
you have to grant access, of course. So to protect that property,
really,
I'm using that word, the part of the water body is their private property that they've acquired as an asset. To protect it, they erect barricades, barriers, and they employ armed men to guard it. So if you are accessing that water body, you now have to show them an ID card, and they have to interrogate you. If they believe you won't serve their interest, they will allow you access. If the head of the Water Resources Commission is saying this, the police should know it. National security should know it. The Ghana Armed Forces should know it. The president must know it. The Minister for Water Resources and Lands and Natural Resources must know it. Minister for water resources should also know it. It cannot be the case, Raymond, that the head of a state institution, to the point where they've given up even trying, now they are using alternative means because it's not possible, that we sit and say we don't know that galamseyers are now making attempts and negotiating with chiefs to buy portions of a river.
For this part, it is new to me. It's new to me because I know the abrasion. I know that they can now do it by the roadside. I'm shocked that any human being would accept that. In fact, there's a story about they doing it behind police stations, and that's the height of it. But to go to the extent of now taking on legitimate institutions of state and not hiding from them, and not doing it in the dead of the night when nobody sees you. But that's what used to happen. You remember? That, when we go and chase them during the day, in the night, that's when they go to operate. So we have decided to actually find out. Yes.
Broad daylight. Let me shock you even more. Again, while I was doing this, I started looking at the data. Then I found that in 2022, the Ghana Water Company data says, out of all water they produce and purify, only 50% is good enough to come to your tap. Only 50% is potable. And this is 2022. So 50% of the water they purify is not good enough for us to drink. So they waste it. Now, why? Because of galamsey. That's because the water is silted. So no matter how you purify, no matter how much chemical you use, 50% of that is just not good. You only get 50% of that for you to drink. Guess what, Raymond? 2024, that 50% has now increased to 60%. So 60% of the water is no longer useful after purification. In other words, Raymond, in 2 years, it's increased by 10%. What it means is, in the next 8 years, if you're using that average, and assuming that everything stays constant, right, and the galamsey, nothing happens to it, right, and we don't fight it and it remains this way, in 8 years, we'll drop to 0. So that when they purify the water, they won't get anything good enough for you to drink. Then when I make the analysis, the Water Resources Commission boss says, it's true, but let me even make it worse for you. You think that per the scientific calculation of how we evaluate the quality of water, the water quality must drop to 0 before you are able to purify. It says no. Actually, all the plants that you use to purify water has been designed to sort of stop purifying water when the turbidity is so terrible that it's around 80% thereabout, right? So even that, it was being generous. So the 8 years calculation, if nothing changes, we will reach that point where we cannot purify water for us to drink anymore, way before the 8th year. Because in other words, in the next 6 years, maybe 5, if nothing happens, and the turbidity levels keep dropping the way it is now, Ghana Water Company, in many, many areas in this country, will be unable to purify water and send some of that into your tap because it's just useless. And again, another thing he said. And
again, I mean, this is besides the fact that some of us, even without all of this problem, we don't get water.
Already?
Yeah.
Already.
We already have our water problems already. And so what they're saying is that it will move from bad to worse.
And that you will not have water
at all. Even those of you who have get water.
That is the point where he then makes the point about we will now have to lay pipes, hopefully, to our neighboring countries and try
and buy water from, say, Cote d'Ivoire.
Yeah, so now we'll do the West African gas pipeline equivalent
of water.
West African water pipeline.
A country with abundant water resources.
That's where we are. And then he says to me that our turbidity level of 14,000 NTU, which is what the 14,000 NTU, is the worst in the world. And the whole world, including South America. In those jungles where you have the rebels who control the place and nobody else knows. In fact, stateless.
Yes.
Controlled by warlords.
Failed states.
Failed states.
So
ours is worse than those areas.
Okay, we will not say that also means that we are beyond failed state level now.
Oh, but
no, I'm not going to say that.
In those areas.
Yes, I'm not going to say that now.
You don't want to say that.
But any sensible person would know that that's the implication.
That's the implication.
Yes, that is really what we are. So we have legitimate institutions of state. We have a presidency. We have judiciary. We have legislature. All of these people have actually written laws, which includes giving people arms, force of state to act in all manner of ways. And yet we have sat down for our level of pollution of our water bodies to rank. In fact, I did some old story long time ago, famous for the wrong reasons. For us to be so famous, we are number one, compared to even states that are completely failed when it comes to the pollution of our water bodies. If this is not a national emergency, I do not see any other reason that will compel me to do so. Because, I mean, yeah, and I've been complaining about the people who are able to afford their own imported water and all the other things connected to it. Listen, this does not require action tomorrow or after elections or mere talk or those semblance of I will deal with, I may deal with, we will try and restructure, we will get a job for the people. This requires immediate action. And I was complaining about the kind of stipulation that the political parties have put in their what they call manifesto. It tells you the entire reason. It tells you that no matter which color they appear in, the ultimate interest of the Ghanaian politician is acquisition of power, whether or not it comes at the cost of you losing your life or your future being completely mortgaged. And this is a perfect example of it.
Apart from the fact that this is mass murder.
Yeah.
Because this is poisoning of water on the national level, the national scale, right? Yeah. So I made the analogy. Just imagine I put poison in your water right now, in a cup of water, a glass of water, and you drink, and you die. That's murder, right? That's one person.
Yes.
The police will arrest you, try you, jail you, right?
Yeah.
We are talking about people who are poisoning river bodies, the water that 30 plus million of us will drink.
At genocidal level.
Yeah, you're right. Mass murder.
And let's not get it wrong. Even during war, one of the crimes against humanity is destroying the water body so that nobody gets water to drink.
Yeah, because water is life.
Yeah. In fact, it's a crime against humanity. But we are ably doing that. We are doing that, and we are having debates over it, over whether or not the people are the kingpins or the possible people being influenced to do it. We are having debates, almost as if the people in the pits, their life matter more than the rest of us. Almost as if some people's quest to get gold is more important than your health, your kidney health, the other deformities that they are talking about. And sometimes they scare you when they say some of these deformities. And see, those signs, you don't see it today. That's the problem people don't get.
Yep.
You might think you are fine 10, 15, 20 years. Then you are in a serious condition with this kind of health system. Health system that we have to beg NHIA to get involved in kidney health, to providing what they call dialysis for people. Health system that can allow 15-year-old President Asante to die. That is the kind of health system that you are going to compound with all of the difficulties.
And Raymond, apart from health, there is a devastating economic impact that people haven't averted their minds to, which is, we're talking about dealing with inflation right now. And the cost of everything else has gone up. The cost of living is unbearable in Ghana, primarily because inflation is eating away your income. It's eating away everything else, and including what you buy on the streets. But here's the link between galamsey and that. Right now, if the cocoa board was in a position to raise a cocoa syndicated loan, that would have shored up the city.
That's true.
Stabilize it, even get the city in the position where it's gaining strength against our international currency, particularly the dollar. Slows down the inflation to the point where the biggest contributor to inflation we know is the depreciation of the city. Either we are importing it, because obviously we are taking the cities to go and buy the goods in dollars from outside, which is really what we do. Now, Cocoa Board is not able to get the syndicated loan in. Why? Because you don't have enough beans. You're not producing enough. They say what? One of the reasons is climate change. But a huge part of the problem, and Kukuba himself has said it, because galamsey has taken over cocoa lands. Cocoa farmers are giving away their farms and their trees to galamsey to just destroy.
And sometimes they even force them. There is a case that I was following. Legitimate farmer, decent family farm. When he said he was not going to sell to galamseyers, what they did was basically start the galamsey around the farm in such a way that they polluted the land. He was afraid, he gave it up.
Yeah.
So not only is the mind of their money operating, and this man reported to his chief, nothing was done.
Nothing
to
was
the police,
done.
nothing was done.
Yeah.
It reached the point he even felt late in the night that police officers came to his home with the same galamseyers to come and negotiate. The people that he had believed would intervene and cause right to be done. So you think about it. So you are talking about the cost. Now, cocoa, they can't even raise 1.5 billion. That thing that sustains.
Where's the cocoa?
Yeah.
Where's the cocoa to go?
They did estimation of 700,000. Now they are roaming in 500 or 600,000.
Where's the cocoa?
So, well, but don't get it wrong. Oh. Our currency is sustained by that money.
That's it.
In fact, without that, I'm not saying that we are doomed.
No, but we are.
Your currency is useless without getting that infusion of dollars from the cocoa syndicated loan.
Every year,
we know that
looks forward to the syndicated
especially when you're not getting any Eurobond money coming in.
Desperately looking. When it comes, the city begins to gain strength. Now we are in a country where the city has crossed the 16 mark to the dollar, and there is no other way of showing it up.
Yeah,
because we have destroyed our cocoa farms. To the point where we cannot produce enough cocoa to leverage to raise the loans we need to prop up the economy. And people you haven't thought about it.
Yeah. So
that is why your ball of kinky is that high. Yeah. Because the transportation that you are using to bring the maize from the farm
is connected.
It's affected by our inability to raise enough forex to get fuel. At the rate that can keep your prices more reasonable, that would affect your transport.
And this is to that businessman who is sitting in Accra and pretending that, nobody's doing, I'm saying Accra, so I'm fine. Because of
exactly.
Yes. And because some of the people, when you speak to them, I mean, why I live in Cantonment, there's no problem. I mean, why should I be worried about it? If they want to kill themselves, forget about his extended family members, who you would have to fend for when they have difficulties. You forget about those ones. But your economic might, that thing you call salary, which is pegged to the CD in this republic, every time you are very proud of the huge amount of money you are taking. Part of it is being taken away because of somebody's irresponsibility. The one you are refusing to call out, when we ask you to get involved, you say, well, why is my business? It is your business because it is reducing your purchasing power.
Yeah, you think the money in your pocket.
And maybe this personal reason will be one more reason why everybody will be now interested in the matter of ending this canker once and for all. Because I cannot fathom why a state, some issues go down, they come up, and we are okay with it.
Yeah.
Because we take our eyes off the ball. But this matter, it has exposed us beyond reason.
And again, Raymond, one more economic impact. And again, we want to stress for you to appreciate that when I know people say, well, this one is far away.
Yes.
In 2019, Osafo Mafo was speaking publicly and said he traveled and he was told that year, $13 billion worth of gold was exported out of the country to that country. I've forgotten the name. I think one of the United Arab Emirates or was in Dubai. 13 billion of that was exported, and that was not accounted for.
Yeah.
Because the PMMC didn't have that on record. Can you imagine what $13 billion worth of gold legally exported, taxed,
can do to your economy?
Need I say more?
And, well, maybe you are still not convinced, but we need you in the Republic of Ghana to know that this is urgent. We need you to also agree that maybe state is failing, but we can take the bull by the horns ourselves. At least, if we keep on making a lot more noise about it, somebody will hear. Somebody close to you. A priest will hear. A powerful person in the Republic of Ghana will hear. And all of us, because you, in all fairness, you may not even have the money to go and seek healthcare elsewhere. Some are relocating. You don't even have a passport. It is in our collective interest that we build Ghana for Ghana and our generations after that.
Yeah.
And let's not get it wrong. We have failed young people. The worst thing we want to do is add on the complete destruction of our vegetation and our water bodies to that list of failures that we have put them into. That is basically being the height of irresponsibility. And if for nothing at all, let it be on record that your voice was also heard. And that if your kids, 40, 30 years later, your grandchildren are watching videos about how Ghana was basically brought down on its needs, at least they will isolate you. And they will know that you were not part of the people who really contributed to it, or your voice was heard. It's the reason why you also matter in this case. Because, no, sometimes there's our job, we will say it. But it is not only, and it's been shown, that when TUC, for example, and Winston and others have been on that particular trend.
Oh, yeah.
When TUC jumped in, within hours, what looked like foregone conclusion was reversed. I am expecting them, because there are some people in TUC today that are better paid than them. That my economic conditions are better than them.
Yeah, they are fighting for the West.
Yes. I'm saying that, I mean, it is in your interest too.
They haven't appreciated it yet.
Yes. To make sure you tomorrow come and say that your salary, the increase by 15% is nothing, and you ask for 60%. They are taking away what will make the city stable too, which will affect your salary. Which will affect how much you are taking home to your family. So it is also in the interest of TUC to more than ever intervene in this matter. At least you are a powerful group. When you threaten strike, government listens. And we need them to listen now. I am done with calling ministries, how do you even call them? Ideally, I'll come sitting here saying that, hey, no, we should sack this minister. We should, listen, I am tired of that. I only think that if the people also have the energy to take on leadership and say, we gave you a job, you are failing at it. We need you to get your act together. And we need you to get your act together now. That, to me, is the only way we can collectively fix this problem.
Anyway, enjoy the rest of your evening. I'm sure you've had enough.